Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm your cosmic auntie, the interstellar storyteller, and this is going to be a collective reading for the new moon in Aries, solar eclipse energy that's happening on April 19th to 20th, and throughout, the next few weeks of this moon phase. So, yeah, it's quite a time. It's quite a time right now. This energy of this new moon is really, really heavy. It's also incredibly cathartic. But that's not always comfortable, right? Cathartic energy isn't always comfortable. It can be relieving, it can be liberating, but it's not always comfortable. And that's definitely something that's energetically taking place right now. So this is the first eclipse, kicking off eclipse season. And it's also interesting because the nodes of the moon are shifting. South node is shifting out of Scorpio into Libra. North node is shifting out of Taurus into Aries. But what's interesting is that the Taurus new moon is also an eclipse. So the nodes of the moon are kind of reverberating between these signs. So there's this cosmic threshold we're all crossing individually as well as collectively. It's showing me like a line of fire. So there's this energy of leaping through the line of fire. And there's essentially things that get burned away that do not come with us as we cross this threshold, which can be very challenging. This is a time of quick and sharp, sudden changes. Literally, the eclipse can eclipse things out like a blank slate kind of thing. That's the kind of energy that eclipses bring forward. Yeah, so it can be a really heavy time right now. There can also be a lot of divine alignment happening, as well as things release and shed and change. There creates more expansion, which is filled, and I feel like it's happening fairly quickly. Like, I keep thinking of this video, this like reel or TikTok or something like that, and it's like this woman, she's really excited that someone bought her a croissant, and then they take a big bite out of the croissant randomly as she's like excited about it, and like she's shocked and like bewildered, and before she could even like say anything and like clap back, there's like this cake pop kind of like shoved in her mouth, and it just feels as though like the universe is stripping things away as well as bringing in so much more sweetness and alignment. And it may not be happening real time as you see this video, like we're all going to be on our own timelines, but it is happening. With the release comes expansion, and that gives us room to grow into who we are more and more. It's uncomfortable, right? Like there's a sense of a security blanket being snatched away right now. And the energy also is presenting to me is like the Eye of Sauron. I feel like there's an element around this time of like there's an energy of like external triggers in some form or another, or like, the Eye of Sauron is looking for that ring. They are seeking that ring that hangs around Frodo's neck, that's heavy, it's burdensome, it's psychological, it's powerful, right? Because the Eye of Sauron is trying to gain control. So you may find yourself experiencing certain internal challenges of outdated emotional beliefs or triggers or things coming up from within that are attempting to, try and keep you in this place because it's comfortable, even though you're uncomfortable and you've outgrown it. Human beings have a remarkable ability to remain in uncomfortable situations because they're comfortable, but they're not. But you know what I mean. So this could be happening internally and externally. People, places, things may pop up that may trigger you, trigger past experiences in some way, subconsciously, like unconsciously or consciously. There might be some like shit disturbers out there that see your growth, that try and step to you or get your goat or something like that in order to keep you at a certain place. Now, it's ugly energy, but I gotta say, it could very well be that way because Sauron is magnetizing that ring. It's looking for that ring. It's looking for that trigger deep within. It's looking for that thing that is going to be able to use it so they can materialize and gain control the environment. So some of you may be outgrowing certain things that are controlling within and controlling from without, and they may link together as well. Who knows? It's going to be different for each and every one of you, but just be aware of that. There's this energy of like so much growth and expansion that there may be past things that are on the like that try to, I just saw like a tendril kind of come up and catch you by the ankle and drag you back because it's threatening to them in some way, or threatening to even your sense of self. That you've expanded beyond this, behavioral pattern or something like that. But it feels so uncomfortable to be in this new era because there's all of this room to expand into. And it can feel really daunting. And so it can feel like you want to kind of slide back into what's known, even though that's very uncomfortable for you and unhealthy for you. And it's like this reverberation. It's like, oh, like there's a lot going on with this energy. Ultimately, it is bringing us into deeper alignment with ourselves, which assists us in aligning with people, places, and things that resonate with our frequency and value us in the external. So this energy is helping us feel better, but it is a purge. There's this energy of like just removing toxins, and it can be very challenging. Like I said, there might be things, people, places, things from your past that kind of crop up, or people that are used to manipulating and controlling you in a certain way, right? Eye of Sauron, I'm going to find that ring, I'm going to magnetize it. It usually takes over people, right? It's unfortunate. Like, people that may know what triggers you may try and trigger you in order to control you. But remember who you are and what you're doing, and you are crossing this, this cosmic threshold. And so are they. They're going to have to get used to not being able to control you in that way and fucking off. As well as how these things are internalized within you, where you're not sabotaging yourself out of good things. You're not doubting yourself and your ability to create a certain thing or go for a certain thing. It may crop up, but you know of it, and you're like, quiet. You're not going to sabotage this, opportunity because it feels aligned and you're going for it. This is also kind of like, I feel like the cosmos are creating like a petri dish for all of us to fully form into like who we truly are and all that we are becoming. Like, it's really presenting us this like habitat to activate into ourselves at a deeper level. And it's gonna feel really uncomfortable. Like, there's also things that feel really, really connective, but ultimately this time is going to be uncomfortable. It's just what it is. But again, it is providing us a petri dish to really activate. And another thing is because Spirit is teaching me through Lord of the Rings, which I always love. But Frodo knows that this is his burden to bear, right? He's the only one that the ring cannot control. Like, it brings him to the brink time and time again. And again, these triggers, these burdens that are the root of whatever flares these triggers, or whatever causes these triggers in order to control you. Like, you know exactly what they are, and that's powerful. Like, Frodo knows that he has to bring this ring to its origin in order to destroy it. It's deep spiritual shadow work. And I feel that by using this reference, Spirit is sharing with me to share with you, to hopefully gas you up, celebrate you, make you feel less alone, that you have fully identified what this burden is. You know exactly what it is, and you've taken it back to its own hellfire and destroyed it. Now, Frodo doesn't come out unscathed, right? He loses a finger because Smeagol is completely consumed by the power of the ring, right? And they collapse, like, Frodo and Sam collapse as all the lava comes and all of this stuff, and they're fully surrendered to, and like exhausted, right? This is a time of exhaustion. It really is. Like, you can feel very tired around this time, also very antsy, but ultimately very fatigued after this huge journey. Then the eagles come and grab them and take them to safety. So what also I'm feeling at this time is that there's this energy of being divinely air-vacked out of the rupturing, fires of Mordor. Like, it's where we're being brought to safety. We're being ushered over this cosmic threshold into this new era. A little bit like, bruised, battered, fatigued, like, but whatever that is can't bother you anymore. And it also, by you doing this, it heals the collective as well. By you healing yourself, it heals the collective, it heals the world around you. So thank you for doing that. Temperance, the magician, yeah. The Seven of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Dang, yes. Spirit is really, really rewarding your fortitude, your tenacity, your stamina, your strength. And you have gone back to the beginning. You've taken this thing that has been bothering you, taking this thing back to its origins in order to fully destroy it. Meanwhile, it wants to go back there in order to connect with Sauron, who wants to maintain control. So this literally could look so many different ways for each and every one of you. But I am really I feel like want to put out kind of a caution energy of anyone who knows your particular trigger or knows how to pull and tug on that, whatever that is. Be aware of that, because again, but it's an illusion, because you've already destroyed that thing. You've already taken it to the hellfires. You've already taken it to the fires of Mordor. It may have left a weight, or it may have, created a sense of healing, right? Like Frodo and all of them have to heal. Again, they're not alone, right? Frodo has his homies in the physical world, and in the spiritual world that help him, and so do you. So I hope that I'm making sense with this, because anything that's trying to tug on that, like that has been used to being able to trigger you in a certain way in order to control you or minimize you or manipulate you, it may feel very real right now because we're at Libra is like balance. There's kind of like, whoa, a teeter-totter kind of energy, and it's, you know, a ripe time for the past and the present and the future to all become like to be coinciding, and it all is happening at once, but the power is in the moment. And remember the moment you're at, and remember that you have already handled this. You know exactly what it is, and you've taken it to its origin, and you have thrown it in the fire, and it cannot bother you anymore. And so it can, this is a time again that can bring up a lot of illusion. So if you're finding yourself being triggered by old things, well, that could be an invitation to be, you know, continue the journey. Because again, all of you may be at different timelines, but essentially I feel Spirit really guiding me to say that you have handled this already. You have handled it. So it may still shake you up a little bit. It may traumatize you to think of it again, and it may be really overwhelming if anyone is trying to manipulate you in a way that used to work in the past but doesn't anymore, and feeling that like discomfort of being like, do I respond like I used to? Well, no, you've taken that ring to Mordor. It doesn't, it's not weighing your neck down anymore. So remember that you are in this moment. You are in the moment. You are present. Bring yourself back to your body. Taurus North Node has been teaching all of us how to create come home to ourselves. To come home to ourselves. And remember that this does not have control over you anymore. You've been air vac out. You're being air vac out and being ushered into a whole new era, a time of creation, a time of, you know, activation, a time of alchemy, spirituality, feeling connected to yourself, therefore connected to life and the divine. Like, this is about knowing where you end and another begins as well, while understanding that everything is connected. Holding space for that full spectrum, right? With the Magician, the Temperance, Aries, Libra. Aries is I am, Libra is the other. We are all individuals within connection. We are all individuals within the collective, and we are all facets of source energy. So we all have this, you know, kinship. We all have this likeness, but it's not, we also have our own individual energy. We have our own, you know, boundaries and all of it. So I hope that is making sense, because this time is ushering us into greater spiritual alignment with who we are. It's ushering in a time where we have the room to create in the way that feels authentic to us. This time is alchemizing the energy, and again, like with it being an eclipse, is that there is this divine intervention. You have been seen in your journey, in your hard work. You've been supported. You've been witnessed by those that love you the most in the physical realm as well as the spiritual realm. And these eclipses are, again, right, blank slates. The, you know, the cosmos come in, the divine energy comes in, and it is like a storm that shifts the landscape. I mentioned that in my Instagram story as well. It's like, I used to really enjoy just going down to the beach. I grew up on the beach, and seeing like how a storm completely shifted the landscape of the beach. It's the same beach, but it looked different. Like there's different shapes to the driftwood, there was different shapes to the tidal pools, there's different shape there. It looked different. It changed the landscape of the beach. It took away all the debris, right? Like storms are very cleansing, and so are eclipses. Eclipses are incredibly cleansing. So yeah, all you have to do is, be. All you gotta do is be. Okay, clarifier for the magician. Queen of Cups and the Hanged Man. Okay, so this is this energy of like surrendering, the surrender to the flow of life, while tapping into and remembering that you have the power of free will. This is active co-creation with spirit. This is also like radical self-acceptance and radical self-love. This journey to Mordor, whatever this has been for you, and this accomplishment of ridding, ridding and destroying a certain burden or a certain heaviness or a certain deep wound that gets triggered in all sorts of ways, has taught you a lot about yourself. I feel like it has taught you how to love yourself at a deeper level, even if it's uncomfortable, even when it comes down to trust. And there is such a remarkable trust with life here, even in all of its rawness. But with clarifying the magician, it's like this balance, right, Libra, of surrendering to life as well as remembering your free will and your creative energy. That's Aries, right? I am here. It is the divine spark. It is life force energy that runs through each and every one of us. It is our spirit. And with that, we get free will. So this is an opportunity, like this is an era where this is providing an opportunity to fully step forward into the truth of who you are, as well as all that you are becoming, remaining curious and open, loving yourself, knowing what you deserve and what you bring as well. Like this is something that's essential when it comes to, what it is that you have released and what it is you are releasing with that ring of power being brought to Mordor, and all of the challenges that Frodo goes through and all the challenges that you've probably gone through in order to get to that origin place, in order to fully destroy this thing, in order to understand it, in order to understand it and not be consumed by it and ultimately destroy it. Yeah. There's this, like, I love this Queen of Cups because she's got her hand in the dragon's mouth, which gives me like strength vibes. So there's just so much that I sense you've learned about your emotional self, your intuition. There's a closeness with your intuition, and this is a time like crossing this threshold. And again, you don't have to do anything, it's just happening. Okay, we are being divinely ushered across this cosmic threshold. We are being air vac'd out by the divine. We are being guided. It just has, it's giving me just strength vibes, just really knowing who you are and becoming like very curious of who. Sorry, there was a dog barking in the background and it totally distracted me. But like this hangman is amazing too. Like, I just love it. It's like, there's just such a sense of flow with it and trust with it. Life is not going to leave you behind. And I feel as though there's a lot of inner peace that you have been cultivating, and that is something that's very valuable moving forward as well, with this Queen of Cups with her hand in the dragon's mouth, you know? Or there's just certain beasts of the deep that, like, she's unbothered. She's like, you come here, you, wrangling that dragon, that, which is also kind of giving me that, like, whatever is triggering, whatever is bubbling up from the subconscious, whatever is bubbling up from the shadow that's starting to get in the way, like, she's like, you come here. Like, so I just feel like so much more just spiritual awareness, emotional awareness coming from you, that's going to, you know, be like just tenfold in this next era. And being very like what is it that you are cultivating? What is it that you're creating, right? Like, what do you love to do? What do you want to do? Oh my gosh, no way. We've got temperance, clarifying the temperance card, and the 8 of Pentacles. So that's perfect to kind of lead into what I'm about to say, is like, what is it that you're working on? Like, what is it that you're wanting to do? Like, what is it that you are wanting to experience? Because it's all about co-creation. We're constantly co-creating with life. But as we are guided into this next era, you know, what is it that you are creating? And this isn't a time, like, you know, you don't have to do anything in particular at this point in time. You don't have to be, you know, aware and clear of everything that you want to do. But it's like, I guess it's more of like a way you want to feel with the Queen of Cups here and the Hanged Man. It's like, I feel like the divine is really like, spirit just wants us close. Spirit wants us closer to spirit. It's highly, highly spiritual energy here. It's massive activations. And the magician, right, has every tool in the tarot in order to create. They have their wand, their pentacle, their sword, their cup, and they have the ability to manifest and create. So, sit back, relax at this time, you know, around the eclipse, and just hold your center. Keep, you know, alchemizing your energy, paying attention to the synchronicities, paying attention to your intuition, paying attention to, the signs, and ultimately trusting, surrendering to the process. Yes, a lot is probably being removed, but it also is creating more space to create and cultivate moving forward. Because the 8 of Pentacles is all about hard work. It's about commitment. It's about skill building. And then Temperance being here twice. This again is highly spiritual energy. This is divine guidance. This is divine protection. This is internal alchemy. This is like really creating space for the full spectrum of life, the, you know, duality of life, the duality within yourself, the connection to, you know, of yourself to life, like literally how everything is connected, but yet you are a unique individual. And what does that mean? That's North Node in Aries. Who are you? Like, really take up that space. I am. That is Aries' slogan. I am. I am here. I am here, and so are you. That's the Aries Libra archetype. So, you know, there's this notion of connection. So anyway, so double temperance here. I just feel like, you know, if you're having a hard time around this like moon, whenever this video finds you, know that you are so loved. You are so loved, okay? You're so protected as well. Like, look at this little buddy here just watching over you. The Temperance card is about guardian angels. It's about, you know, guides and your spirit team. It's about, yeah, this divine connection and like the power of life. Again, making room for the full spectrum of life and alchemizing all of those dynamics, right? Like the Temperance card, alchemists are wanting to create gold from lead or something like that, but ultimately they are combining different elements in order to create something new. There's also an element with the Philosopher's Stone as well. It's Sagittarius energy, so Sagittarius, so looking at where Sagittarius is in your chart can be really helpful. It's this universal wisdom, we got the Page of Cups here. Okay, so I feel as though going back to North Node in Taurus, how it's been teaching us to come home to ourselves. What have you learned about that? Like, what have you learned about your emotional needs? How have you been creating room within yourself to be and house all the dynamics of you? Because that's temperance, right? We have light energy, dark energy, we have masculine energy, feminine energy, yin yang, all of these like energies that creates this kind of duality, and within that duality creates a spectrum which creates room for our soul to expand, ourselves to expand, right? Our soul expresses itself through our unique personality. Our soul is like a little piece of source that connects us to everything that is. But it is expressed through our unique personality, through our unique lens in this lifetime. So like, what does that mean for you? Who are you? What do you need? What do you love about yourself? Like, what do you notice about yourself, right? The Page of Cups is learning about how to take care of that dragon in the cup. Like, what does that dragon need? What does that, how are they going to provide the most healthy experience for that little dragon in the cup, right? And eventually that dragon is going to become too big for the cup. And ultimately, turn into this larger beast. So how do you feed yourself? How do you nourish yourself? How do you tend to yourself? Because these, little dragons in the cup can either turn into ferocious, dragons that we have to go in and address, right? We're talking about the Ring of Mordor, or the Ring of Power being brought to Mordor as a trigger, as a burden to bear in some way, as a painful spot. And that is confirmed here with the dragon. Also, these places can become facets of ourselves that really work to express our authenticity. So it's all about how we bring our awareness into ourselves, right? Yeah. Very interesting. King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And then the Seven of Wands too. Yeah, I just feel as though it's time to surrender to the process during this moon phase. Like, you have really worked hard at something. You have been holding strong for a really long time. You've been doing the dang thing. You've been so brave. You've been so determined. You've stood still, and you've, in the face of adversity, you've strategized in the face of adversity. You've pivoted, you've shifted, you've done so much. It's been ravaging, I'm sure, whatever it is that we're talking about here. It's been ravaging, whatever it has been. But now I feel as though Spirit is saying, let me carry you across the threshold. Let me take you. And bring you into a vista where where there's this room to be able to continue to do what it is that you're doing that feels authentic to you, that feels true to you. And continue to discover that, because we are an unfolding process. We are always learning. We are always growing. We are always, releasing. It's part of this experience, and there's a certain peace to be made with that, even though it brings up discomfort. And I feel like that's really big message coming through here too, is like, Spirit seeing, how are you making peace with this cycle of life, death, rebirth? Because it is an essential part of life. It is life. That's what life is. Seven of Wands clarifier. Oh my goodness. Yes, the Star. Let me take you. Spirit's like, let me usher you across. Let me take you in the talons of this great eagle and fly you to safety. This new moon in Aries, like, literally is like a spiritual air vac out of these places that we have essentially triumphed over, but have exhausted us. It's taken us to the brink. It is something quite big. Like, I sense for those of you who are here still and resonating with, you have gone deep into the shadow. You have battled the Balrog. You have taken this burden. You have realized that it needs to come, battling the Balrog is also this Gandalf reference that I constantly use with shadow work. But in this way, the energy is like, no, we're talking about Frodo. Frodo fully knows of his task and is the only one that can carry it. And you have carried this thing back to its origin place in order to destroy it. And yeah, it may have not left you unscathed. You may have had to release something. You may have had to let go of something. Frodo lost a finger and collapsed, and then gets carried to safety. And that's what I feel in this new moon, this eclipse. This eclipse is like a big giant eagle in Middle Earth coming to grab you gently and carry you to safety, and it puts you in a soft, clean bed to rest, to heal, and essentially connect with those that you feel like home around. And it's bringing in so much wish fulfillment as well. Like, it's bringing, like, I feel like this energy is ushering all of us and situating us in a place, again, a petri dish, this space for us to be able to, activate into who we are and who we are becoming in this next era. Wow. My goodness. Okay, so I'm going to use my new deck. It's called Postcards from Spirit. It's one of my favorites. It's like, y'all, there's so much synchronicity right now. Like, I haven't seen this deck since, like, about 5 years ago, the first tarot reader that I ever connected to on YouTube used this deck, and I absolutely loved it. I've never seen it anywhere else, and I found it the other day, and I really resonate with this. I mean, I'm part of the collective too, and there's this like 5-year journey that I sense is like I'm all of a sudden looking back at it, and it was something that I've been going through for a really long time, and it's almost like discombobulating because I'm like, whoa, am I looking at in retrospect at that? And it's almost like, no, I'm dealing with that, but no, like I've dealt with it. Now I'm turning a corner, and I'm on a whole new leg of the journey, and that part is over, and it's really weird. And Spirit has rewarded me with this deck. At the beginning of that journey, I was watching that tarot reader. Okay, so let's get you a postcard from Spirit. Well, let's get us a postcard from Spirit, right? This collective reading. Postcard from Spirit. Oh my goodness. That's way too many, but we'll take the bottom of the deck here. So they're really beautiful. So they look like a postcard at the back here, like that. And then they have a little message. So, all right, this is our postcard from Spirit. Dear you, there are times in life when taking a risk is better left for another day. Other times are perfect for taking that leap, no matter how dangerous it might seem. Well, hold on to your parachute strings, for today is leap time. Realize that no matter what, we will not let you fall down, drown, get lost, or hurt yourself in any way on this one. Even if it may feel like you are in a free fall, we are here for you, and you can stop freaking out about getting hurt and relax into this transition to something new. All the elements are in place, and your soul is ready for a new experience. No matter what you're asking about, it's time to take the risk and do that thing that scares you. No matter what happens, you will land softly, right on target. Don't worry about the outcome. Spirit's got that covered. It's taking the leap itself. That's the point. We love your courage. Embrace it. Makes me want to cry. Like, seriously, what? Yeah. It's like we've gotten ourselves to this certain point. Spirit's like, all right, let's do it. Take that leap. I've got the rest. Like, there's this. Well, I don't feel like I have to say anything more. This is exactly it. We love your courage. Embrace it. 7 of Wands. Courage. All of it. There's so much courage here. Magician. Courage. There's so many spiritual rewards and gifts in it. Like, it just, yeah. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there. Like, I honestly don't feel like I have to say anything more. This is why I love these cards. I'm so happy to have them, and I know that they're going to enrich the readings here so much. I hope you enjoy them. Yeah, they're amazing. So thank you for being the first reading that I've used them on. I hope this was helpful in some way. Rest as much as you can. Drink as much water, hydrate, eat yummy foods, be outside in nature and chill. Remember, you are being ushered across the threshold here. Your leap of faith is being rewarded, with support from Spirit. You are guided, okay? Just keep reading it. It's like really profound. Like, happy new moon in Aries, happy solar eclipse. I love you very much, and if any of this resonated with you, let me know. Leave me a like. Leave a comment if you feel comfortable. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you part of the community. It's blossoming in this beautiful way. Even though I haven't been here for a while, it's been wild times. So, and I haven't felt grounded enough to show up here. But this energy, before we get into the actual eclipse, it was just, I really felt guided to talk about it, and I'm glad I did. So yeah, thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. I will be slowly working through my monthlies again, and I also do new moon and full moon reading. So if you're interested in the moon readings, I'll see you in the full moon in Libra. What is the next full moon? Because this is now the full moon in Scorpio, I believe, actually. So yeah, love you very much, and I will talk to you later.